good, everyone. Life is full of challenges, uncertainty, and moments that test us. Some days feel easy, and other days feel overwhelming. But there are habits we can practice that help us stay calm, strong, and in control of our emotions. Today, I want to share 5 simple habits that build emotional strength. Focus only on what you can control. Life is full of events, people, and circumstances that happen beyond our power. The weather changes, other people make decisions, the past cannot be rewritten, and the future is uncertain. Yet, much of our suffering comes not from these events themselves, but from our attempts to control them. We try to force outcomes that are not ours to force, we worry about things that may never happen, and we feel anger, frustration, or disappointment when life does not bend to our wishes. This is why it is crucial to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. When we focus on what we can control, we redirect our energy toward actions and thoughts that truly make a difference. Our mind becomes quieter, and our decisions become clearer. What we can control is limited, but it is enough. We can control our thoughts, the attitudes we hold, the choices we make, and how we respond to events. We can choose patience when provoked, courage when afraid, and kindness when confronted with rudeness. These decisions, no matter how small, shape our character and influence the world around us in ways that its external circumstances cannot. By taking responsibility for our inner life, we build strength. We no longer give away our power to things outside ourselves. Instead, we focus on mastering our reactions, cultivating self-discipline, and remaining steady in the midst of chaos. This habit begins with awareness. Notice when your mind drifts toward worry about what cannot be changed. Notice the tension that arises when you attempt to control someone else's behavior or outcomes. Observe how fear or anger grows when you cling to expectations. Simply being aware is the first step. Awareness allows you to pause before reacting, to recognize that the frustration or anxiety you feel is not caused by the event itself, but by your desire to control it. Once you notice this, you can redirect your energy toward what you can influence, like your attitude, your actions, or the way you speak to others. Focusing on what you can control also means letting go of attachment to results. Many people judge their happiness or peace on external success, approval, or recognition. When the outcome depends on forces beyond your control, relying on it for contentment is fragile and unstable. Instead, find satisfaction in the effort you put forth, the integrity with which you act, and the choices you make. This does not mean you stop caring about results or ambition, but you accept that success or failure is not entirely yours to command. When we act with care, reason, and moral clarity, we cultivate resilience, because our peace does not depend on the unpredictable nature of the world. Daily practice strengthens this habit. Begin each day reminding yourself of what is within your control. Before making decisions, ask, is this something I can truly change, or am I trying to control the uncontrollable? In moments of stress, repeat silently that your thoughts and actions are what you can master, not external events. This simple mental discipline gradually trains the mind to remain calm in the face of chaos. Challenges become opportunities to exercise control over yourself, rather than battles to win against the world. Your emotions no longer dominate you. You learn to respond rather than react, to act rather than fret, to stay grounded no matter what comes your way. By focusing only on what you can control, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You stop being pulled in every direction by chance, opinion, or circumstance. Your energy is spent wisely, your mind grows steady, and your character becomes unshakable, because you understand that true power lies not in changing the world, but in mastering yourself. Reflect on your actions and feelings daily. Life moves quickly, and it is easy to go from one task to another without pausing to think about what we do or how we feel. Yet, taking even a few moments each day to examine ourselves can have a profound effect on our strength and clarity. Reflection is not about judgment or self-criticism. It is about understanding, learning, and guiding ourselves with wisdom. When we reflect, we examine our choices, our responses, and the emotions that arise within us. We ask questions about our behavior. Did I act with patience today? Did I allow anger or fear to control me? Did I speak and act in a way that aligns with my values? These questions help us see patterns in our actions, recognize where we fall short, and notice where we are growing. Reflection builds awareness. Without it, our habits and emotions govern us unconsciously. We react to events in the same way over and over, repeating mistakes without realizing it. But when we pause to reflect, we create a space between stimulus and response. In this space, we can choose how to act rather than being carried by impulse. This awareness strengthens the mind because it reminds us that we are responsible for our own behavior. No one else decides how we feel, how we respond, or what values we uphold. Reflection is the training ground for self-control and emotional resilience. The practice of reflection can be simple. At the end of each day, take a quiet moment to review your actions and feelings. Recall the events of the day and notice where you acted well and where you could improve. Consider the emotions that arose at anger, worry, pride, joy, or sadness. Ask yourself what caused them and whether they were helpful or harmful. This exercise does not require writing or formal methods, though writing can help clarify thoughts. The important part is to be honest with yourself without being harsh. Reflection is not punishment, it is guidance. By observing yourself, you gradually train your mind to notice what matters, to see clearly the connection between your thoughts, choices, and outcomes. Reflection also helps in preparing for the future. By reviewing past mistakes, we recognize the situations in which we are most vulnerable. We notice patterns in our behavior that lead to suffering, and we can plan strategies to respond differently next time. Similarly, reflection reinforces the behaviors we wish to strengthen. When we notice moments of courage, patience, or kindness, we remind ourselves that these qualities are possible, that they are part of who we are becoming. This recognition builds confidence and emotional resilience, because we are not left guessing how we will act. We understand ourselves better through observation and repetition. Another benefit of daily reflection is clarity of purpose. Life presents many choices, and we can easily become distracted by trivial matters, social pressures, or fleeting desires. Reflection helps us separate what is important from what is not. When we examine our actions and feelings, we see whether we are living according to our principles or merely reacting to external circumstances. This clarity strengthens resolve, reduces confusion, and allows us to act with intention rather than being driven by habit or emotion. Reflection requires patience and consistency. Some days, it may feel uncomfortable to face our own mistakes or acknowledge our weaknesses. Other days, we may feel frustrated that we are not progressing as quickly as we wish. These are natural feelings, and they are part of the process. The key is to return to the practice daily, steadily, and without self-condemnation. Over time, reflection becomes second nature. It trains the mind to notice, to correct, and to guide itself, turning ordinary experiences into lessons that shape character. Prepare mentally for challenges. Life is unpredictable, and difficulties are inevitable. Illness, loss, mistakes, disappointment, and unexpected events come to everyone. Many people meet these moments unprepared, reacting with fear, anger, or panic. But mental preparation changes the way we experience challenges. It does not prevent difficulties from occurring, but it allows us to meet them with calm and reason. When we imagine possible obstacles and think through how we would respond, we reduce the shock and confusion that often accompanies them. This preparation is not about pessimism or expecting the worst, but about training the mind to remain steady no matter what happens. The first step in preparation is awareness. Recognize that life will include hardship, and that these moments are opportunities to exercise self-control and courage. Avoid the temptation to believe that comfort, safety, or smooth sailing is guaranteed. By acknowledging that challenges will come, we prevent ourselves from being caught off guard. We start to see difficulties as a natural part of life, not as punishments or failures. This shift in perspective allows the mind to stay calm, because it no longer clings to illusions of control over everything outside of our power. Next, consider how you would act in difficult situations. Visualize challenges, both small and large, and imagine responding with patience, wisdom, and courage. For example, imagine someone criticizing you unfairly, and picture yourself responding calmly rather than with anger. Imagine a sudden setback at work or school, and see yourself handling it thoughtfully, focusing on the steps you can take rather than reacting emotionally. By mentally rehearsing these scenarios, we strengthen our ability to respond rather than react. The mind becomes like a muscle. The more we train it to act steadily in imagined challenges, the more it will perform steadily in real ones. Preparation also involves detaching from the need for specific outcomes. Too often, emotional suffering comes from attachment to how things should turn out. We imagine a perfect scenario, and when reality differs, we feel disappointed or frustrated. Mental preparation reminds us that outcomes are rarely entirely within our control. What we can control is our behavior, our effort, and our mindset. By focusing on what is ours to influence, we reduce anxiety and stress. We can act with diligence and care, yet remain unshaken if the results are not what we hoped for. Daily life offers smaller opportunities to practice preparation. Every decision, every interaction, and every problem presents a chance to anticipate challenges and respond deliberately. Preparing mentally does not require waiting for a crisis. It can happen in ordinary moments. For instance, before starting a difficult task, pause to consider potential obstacles and how you will handle them. Before entering a conversation that may be tense, reflect on how you can remain composed and speak clearly. Even small exercises build the habit of preparedness, so when larger challenges arrive, the mind is already trained to remain steady. Mental preparation also strengthens courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. By visualizing challenges and rehearsing calm, reasoned responses, we reduce fear because the unknown becomes familiar. We practice facing what may be uncomfortable, difficult, or threatening in a safe mental space. Over time, this builds confidence in our ability to handle life's hardships without being overwhelmed. We come to understand that while we cannot control every event, we can control our responses and maintain our integrity and peace of mind. Through consistent mental preparation, the mind learns to anticipate difficulty without being consumed by worry, to face obstacles with reason rather than panic, and to act decisively in alignment with principles rather than emotions. Challenges become opportunities to exercise skill, patience, and resilience, rather than sources of despair or confusion. The habit of preparing mentally transforms how life is experienced, making us calmer, stronger, and more capable of facing whatever comes. Accept discomfort without resistance. Life is filled with moments that are uncomfortable, painful, or challenging. Illness, loss, criticism, failure, and uncertainty are all part of the human experience. Many people spend their lives trying to avoid these moments, seeking comfort and ease at all times. Yet, avoidance only increases suffering, because life will inevitably present difficulties. Emotional strength grows when we learn to face discomfort directly, without fear, anger, or resistance. Acceptance does not mean passivity or giving up. It means understanding the reality of the situation, recognizing what is outside our control, and choosing to respond with calm and reason rather than panic or complaint. Discomfort often comes in two forms, external and internal. External discomfort includes situations such as physical pain, difficult work, or social challenges. Internal discomfort involves emotions like anxiety, fear, anger, or sadness. Both types test the mind, and both can be used as training grounds for resilience. When we accept discomfort, we acknowledge that life is sometimes hard, and that these experiences are opportunities to practice patience and self-discipline. By facing discomfort rather than fleeing from it, we strengthen our ability to remain steady in all circumstances. The first step in acceptance is recognizing the source of suffering. Ask yourself whether the difficulty comes from something you can control or something outside your control. If it is outside your control, resisting it only increases frustration. Accepting reality as it is frees energy that can be used for thoughtful action instead of futile struggle. If the discomfort is within your control, such as a habit or reaction, acceptance allows you to confront it honestly, rather than hiding from it. Acceptance does not eliminate the challenge, but it changes the way you experience it. A mind that accepts discomfort is calmer, clearer, and better able to find solutions or endure hardship. Practice helps build this habit. Start with small discomforts in daily life. Wait patiently in a long line without complaining. Endure a cold shower without resistance. Face minor criticism with calm observation instead of defensiveness. These small exercises train the mind to tolerate difficulty, so when larger challenges appear, The response is measured rather than reactive. Over time, acceptance becomes a natural part of the way you experience life. You learn that discomfort is not an enemy to fight, but a natural condition to face with courage and wisdom. Acceptance also strengthens emotional resilience. When we stop resisting discomfort, we reduce negative emotions such as anger, resentment, and fear. These emotions often arise when we cling to comfort or resist change. By accepting life as it comes, we create inner space for calm thought and reasoned action. Discomfort is no longer a source of panic. It becomes an opportunity to exercise patience, clarity, and self-control. We learn that our peace does not depend on avoiding difficulty, but on maintaining composure and acting wisely regardless of the circumstances. Another important aspect is understanding impermanence. Discomfort, like all experiences, is temporary. Pain, loss, and hardship do not last forever, and by accepting them as part of life's natural rhythm, we prevent ourselves from being overwhelmed. This understanding encourages endurance. Even in the most challenging moments, the mind that accepts discomfort recognizes that suffering is transient, that life moves in cycles, and that strength grows through facing adversity rather than fleeing it. By practicing acceptance, we also gain clarity in action. Resistance clouds judgment and creates confusion, while acceptance allows the mind to see the situation clearly. When we face discomfort without complaint, we can choose the most effective actions rather than being driven by emotion or frustration. This habit trains the mind to act wisely, to endure with dignity, and to remain steady in situations that would otherwise shake our calm. Through consistent practice of accepting discomfort, we develop courage, patience, and resilience. We learn to face life fully, without fleeing from pain, without clinging to ease, and without being ruled by fear. Discomfort becomes a teacher, showing us the limits of our control and the strength of our mind, shaping character and emotional stability in ways that comfort never could. Speak and act with honesty and kindness. Every day, our words and actions shape not only our relationships but also our own inner peace. Speaking dishonestly, exaggerating, blaming, or acting selfishly may offer short-term convenience or gain, but it creates inner conflict, guilt, and stress. Similarly, harsh or unkind behavior toward others often brings unnecessary tension, resentment, or regret. Emotional strength grows when we align what we say and do with truth, fairness, and compassion. Honesty and kindness are not just moral choices. They are practical tools for maintaining clarity of mind and a steady heart in a world full of challenges. Honesty begins with clarity about oneself. It requires understanding what you truly think, feel, and value. When we are clear about our own principles, it becomes easier to express ourselves truthfully. Speaking truthfully does not mean being blunt or hurtful. It means not deceiving, exaggerating, or pretending to be something we are not. When our words reflect reality and our own beliefs, we avoid inner conflict. The mind does not need to keep track of lies or excuses, and our emotions are not burdened by guilt or fear of being discovered. Honest speech creates simplicity and freedom in thought, which strengthens emotional resilience. Kindness is equally important. Acting with care and respect toward others does not mean being weak or passive. It means choosing responses that reduce harm, support connection, and maintain dignity. Kindness strengthens relationships and creates an environment in which understanding and cooperation can thrive. When we act kindly, we also protect ourselves from unnecessary conflict and emotional turbulence. Harsh words or selfish behavior often lead to regret, anger, or stress, but kindness preserves our inner calm and allows the mind to remain clear and steady. Practice requires awareness in each moment. Before speaking or acting, pause and ask yourself, are my words true? Are my actions fair and helpful? Small, repeated choices build the habit over time. Speaking honestly in simple matters, like admitting a mistake or giving credit where it is due, reinforces integrity. Acting kindly in ordinary situations, like showing patience to someone who frustrates us, or offering help without expectation, trains the mind to respond with calm and care. These daily exercises make honesty and kindness instinctive, not occasional efforts. Consistency is key. Emotional strength grows when our speech and actions align with our values every day, not just when convenient. When we act inconsistently, saying one thing and doing another, we create inner tension. The mind struggles to reconcile conflicting messages, and our emotions become unstable. By committing to honesty and kindness as a habit, we reduce internal conflict, gain clarity, and cultivate self-respect. This alignment strengthens the heart because we no longer waste energy on deception, excuses, or harmful impulses. Another aspect of this practice is humility. Honesty and kindness require recognizing our limits and imperfections. We do not pretend to know everything, and we do not judge others harshly. We speak from truth, not pride, and act with care, not arrogance. This humility helps maintain emotional balance because it keeps the mind grounded in reality rather than being swayed by ego or fear. Humble honesty allows us to learn from mistakes, correct behavior, and grow stronger through experience. By combining honesty with kindness, we also influence the world around us positively. Relationships improve, conflicts decrease, and mutual respect grows. We create a space where clear communication and fair actions are possible, reducing unnecessary stress and emotional turmoil. Acting in alignment with truth and compassion teaches us self-discipline, patience, and discernment, all essential qualities for emotional strength. Through regular practice of speaking and acting with honesty and kindness, we train both mind and heart. We develop clarity in thought, steadiness in emotion, and resilience in the face of challenges. Our inner life becomes simpler, our decisions clearer, and our relationships healthier as the harmony between our values, words, and actions grows stronger with each day let go of attachment to outcomes. Much of human suffering comes from the desire for things to turn out a certain way. We plan, hope, and work toward goals, but we often attach our happiness and peace to the results rather than the process. When things do not go as expected, disappointment, frustration, and anger arise. Emotional strength grows when we learn to invest effort and care into what we do without clinging to a specific outcome. By focusing on what is within our control, our actions, intentions, and attitude, rather than the unpredictable results, we free the mind from unnecessary turmoil and maintain calm even when circumstances change. Attachment to outcomes is a natural instinct. We want approval, success, comfort, and recognition. We imagine how life should unfold and measure our satisfaction against that imagined ideal. But life rarely follows a perfect script. People act in ways we cannot control, events occur randomly, and conditions change without warning. When we tie our happiness to what is uncertain, we hand over our power to forces outside ourselves. Letting go of attachment does not mean apathy or lack of effort. It means accepting that some things are beyond our influence, and that true peace depends on our inner response, not on external conditions. Practicing detachment begins with awareness. Notice when your mind clings to a specific outcome or becomes anxious about what might happen. Recognize the thoughts that create tension, such as, "I must succeed," or "This cannot fail." Observe the emotions that accompany these thoughts: fear, frustration, or disappointment. Awareness allows you to pause before reacting, to remind yourself that while your actions matter, the outcome is often shaped by many factors beyond your control. This shift in perspective gradually weakens the grip of attachment, making your mind steadier and more resilient. Another important aspect is focusing on effort rather than results. Success is not guaranteed, but the quality of your effort is always under your control. Approach each task with care, diligence, and integrity, without letting the possible outcome dominate your thoughts. If a project fails, a relationship does not go as hoped, or recognition is withheld, you still acted with intention and honor. By valuing effort over results, you reduce anxiety and build confidence in your own abilities. Regardless of external validation, detachment also allows for flexibility and adaptability. When we are fixated on a particular outcome, we resist change and struggle against reality. When plans fail or circumstances shift, we feel lost or angry. Letting go of attachment enables us to accept change and adapt to new circumstances. We respond to life as it is, rather than as we wish it to be, which allows us to act wisely and effectively even in unexpected situations. Emotional strength grows from this adaptability, as the mind becomes less vulnerable to disruption and more capable of steady judgment. Daily practice strengthens this habit. When making decisions, remind yourself that you cannot control every result. When pursuing goals, focus on what you can do rather than what must happen. When facing uncertainty, Acknowledge your feelings without letting them dictate your peace. Over time, this practice rewires the mind, reducing anxiety, fear, and disappointment while increasing calm, clarity, and confidence. Letting go of attachment also deepens gratitude and contentment. When happiness is not tied to a particular outcome, small successes, ordinary moments, and simple joys are more easily recognized and appreciated. Life is experienced with less tension and more presence. The mind is free to act with reason, the heart is free to remain calm, and decisions are made with clarity rather than fear. Emotional strength emerges from this inner freedom, built not on controlling the world, but on mastering the mind's response to it. Through consistent practice of releasing attachment to outcomes, the mind becomes more stable, the heart more resilient, and the spirit more peaceful. You learn to act with purpose, respond with calm, and navigate life with wisdom and courage, finding strength in the effort rather than the result. Stay calm in the face of anger or fear. Life constantly presents situations that can trigger strong emotions. Someone may insult you, treat you unfairly, or act aggressively. You may encounter danger, uncertainty, or sudden changes that make the heart race and the mind tense. Most people react instinctively, letting anger or fear dictate their words, actions, and decisions. Emotional strength grows when we learn to remain calm, to observe the emotion without being controlled by it, and to act deliberately rather than impulsively. Calmness does not mean suppressing emotion. It means controlling how you respond so that your actions are guided by reason rather than reaction. Anger and fear are natural responses. They arise from instinct and past experiences, often as signals of threat or injustice. However, when these emotions dominate, they cloud judgment, distort perception, and create unnecessary suffering. Anger can lead to rash actions, damaged relationships, and regret. Fear can prevent action, distort reality, and amplify anxiety. The first step in staying calm is awareness. Notice the moment anger or fear arises. Observe the physical sensations: tightening in the chest, a racing heart, shallow breathing. Recognize the mental patterns, thoughts of blame, panic, or imagined threats. Awareness allows the mind to pause, creating space between the emotion and your response. Breathing and attention help regulate emotion. When fear or anger arises, slow, deliberate breathing signals the mind and body to calm down. Focus attention on what is real, not on exaggerated assumptions or imagined threats. Ask yourself, what is under my control in this situation? Even in moments of danger or conflict, some things are always within your power: your thoughts, your words, your actions, and the choice to remain composed. Focusing on these elements transforms fear and anger from overwhelming forces into manageable challenges, giving the mind clarity and stability. Practice helps make calmness instinctive. Begin with small provocations in daily life. When someone speaks rudely, pause before responding. When a minor frustration arises, notice it without reacting impulsively. With repeated practice, the mind becomes trained to remain steady even in more intense situations. Over time, you respond with reason rather than emotion, thinking through consequences rather than acting on impulse. Calmness becomes a habit, not an effort, and the mind is no longer tossed by every disturbance. Perspective strengthens emotional control. Remember that most triggers of anger or fear are temporary, often minor in the larger scope of life. People act from their own ignorance, mistakes, or suffering, not always to harm you personally. Events change constantly, and fear of the future is usually an exaggeration of possibility. By seeing situations in perspective, the mind reduces the intensity of immediate emotion. Calmness grows from understanding that the world is neither perfectly just nor entirely safe, and that our strength lies in how we respond rather than in controlling external conditions. Deliberate action reinforces calmness. When anger or fear arises, choose words and behaviors that align with reason and integrity rather than instinct. Speak thoughtfully, move deliberately, and act according to principles rather than impulse. This habit strengthens emotional resilience because it reinforces the idea that the mind is in control, not the emotion. Calmness in action becomes a skill that can be applied in every aspect of life, from personal relationships to work, from small daily irritations to major crises. By consistently practicing calmness in the face of anger or fear, the mind becomes stronger and more flexible. Emotional responses no longer dominate thought. Instead, Reason guides behavior. Challenges are met with steady judgment, difficult conversations with measured words, and threatening situations with clarity and courage. Over time, calmness grows into a stable, reliable part of character, shaping responses and protecting the mind from the turbulence of uncontrolled emotion. Practice gratitude for what you have. Life constantly presents opportunities for comparison, desire, and dissatisfaction. It is easy to focus on what is missing, what others have, or what you wish were different. This habit leads to restlessness, envy, and unhappiness. Emotional strength grows when we consciously notice and appreciate what is already present in our lives. Gratitude is not about ignoring problems or pretending that life is perfect. It is about recognizing the value in the people, experiences, and things that support us, sustain us, and bring meaning to our days. By practicing gratitude, the mind shifts from longing to presence, from complaint to acknowledgement, and from instability to calm. Gratitude begins with awareness. Take notice of the simple things that often go unnoticed: a warm meal, a clear day, a friendly smile, a body that functions well, a safe place to rest. Notice the people who contribute positively to your life, those who teach, support, or inspire you. Gratitude is rooted in attention. It is the act of observing life without taking it for granted. When we focus on what we have rather than what we lack, the mind develops a sense of sufficiency. This sufficiency fosters calm and reduces anxiety because we are no longer constantly grasping for more or comparing ourselves to others. The habit of gratitude strengthens emotional resilience. Life is unpredictable, and loss or hardship is inevitable. By practicing gratitude daily, we train ourselves to recognize the value that persists even in difficult circumstances. When challenges arise, gratitude allows us to focus on the resources, skills, and relationships that remain, rather than being consumed by what is gone. This perspective gives the mind stability and the heart confidence, because we understand that even in adversity, there are things to appreciate and to rely upon. Gratitude also enhances moral clarity. When we appreciate the support, effort, and kindness of others, we are encouraged to act in ways that honor those contributions. We are less likely to take advantage of others or to act selfishly when we recognize the value of what we receive. In this way, gratitude strengthens character, guiding behavior toward fairness, care, and respect. Emotional strength grows not only from internal recognition, but also from the positive effects gratitude has on our relationships and interactions. Practice can be integrated into daily routines. Begin each day by identifying a few things you are grateful for, no matter how small. During the day, pause and reflect on moments that bring contentment or relief. In the evening, review the day and acknowledge positive experiences or lessons learned. This consistent attention rewires the mind to focus on abundance rather than scarcity, cultivating a mindset that sees opportunity and value even in ordinary moments. Over time, gratitude becomes natural, influencing not only thought but also emotional responses and decision-making. Gratitude also counteracts negative emotions. Envy, resentment, and anger often arise from comparing ourselves to others or dwelling on what we do not have. By shifting attention to what we do possess, we reduce these harmful emotions. Gratitude acts like a stabilizer for the mind, reducing the pull of fear, frustration, and dissatisfaction. We gain the ability to face difficulty with perspective, to endure discomfort without despair, and to maintain inner calm regardless of external conditions. Another aspect of gratitude is humility. Recognizing that much of what we enjoy comes from forces beyond our control, family, community, natural circumstances, or luck, reminds us of our place in the world. This humility fosters patience, reduces pride, and encourages compassion toward others. Emotional strength is reinforced because we learn to appreciate life without demanding more than it can offer, to accept what we have, and to act with fairness and care in response to the benefits we receive. Through consistent practice of gratitude, the mind becomes steady, the heart calmer, and the spirit more resilient. Gratitude transforms ordinary experiences into sources of contentment, teaches the value of what is present, and strengthens the ability to face life's challenges with balance and clarity.